Hey everyone, Slay the Spire just released new beta patch notes, and I wanted to go over the highlights with you. Their main focus for this patch is enemy balance. So they did a rework of Infested Prism, which they don't go into the patch notes. I did go and play the Elite to make sure I knew what the heck was actually happening with the changes and the adjustments to Skulking Colony, as well as playing a little bit of AEONGLASS to give you a little bit more understanding of what the changes actually are. Now, as far as character changes, they really didn't do a whole lot of major reworks with this. They buffed Drum of Battle so that replay when it's exhausted can actually be triggered, so it would replay the exhaust, which gives you energy twice. They buffed Howl from Beyond, which was the card that when you exhaust it, it plays from the exhaust pile. It now plays at the end of your turn rather than the start of your next turn. They buffed Entrench to give you the ability to be able to enhance it with the enchantments like Nimble. They buffed the Unrelenting card, which was the 2-cost damage card that allowed you to play the next attack for free. It got a bit of a damage buff from 12 to 14 and 18 to 20 on the upgrade. So the Silent got a reworked card. Follow Through was the card that did 7 damage, and if you had 5 or more cards in your hand, it would do it twice. Felt really weak. I never really took it because it just didn't feel like it was going to do anything. They actually completely and totally changed the card. It is now Scare, and what it does, it's an uncommon card that is 0 cost that applies weak to all enemies and exhausts. And the upgrade is no exhaust. So now that Follow Through card is completely and totally different. And to fix the hole that they left with the common card, they downgraded Predator to be a common card rather than an uncommon card. And Predator was the 2-cost 15 damage and draw 2 cards your next turn. They buffed what they kind of did here with every single character that had one of these, they buffed Unrelenting, which is the one that makes it an attack free. They buffed Pounce, which makes a skill free, and they also buffed Synthesis, which is making a power free for the Defect. So they did the same exact buff, which making it do 2 more damage on the upgrade and on the base value. The Regent got a couple little minor buffs and nerfs. They buffed the Furnace card, which is Forge every single turn from 4 to 5 and 6 to 7 on the upgrade. Nerfed Minion Strike from 9 to 12 to 8 to 11, so it's a little less of a block card. They changed the Sealed Throne card's upgrade from innate to 0 cost energy, which does nerf it a little bit. Having it innate and being able to play it turn 1 and every single card that you play generates stars from the rest of the battle on was really powerful, so they did nerf it a little bit. Barely touched the NECROBINDER. They actually buffed a card that I never used, which is the Death's March card. So instead of it being 3 to 4 on the upgrade, it's 4 on the base and 6 on the upgrade. So playing a couple souls during the turn in which you want to play Death March is actually going to be viable now. They nerfed the Debilitate card, which is the increase the vulnerable and weak on enemies for 3 to 4 turns. So now it's 2 to 3, which I didn't really use that card, so it's whatever. But they changed. Now, this is a big thing that they actually did here with the Defect. They changed the Fusion card. That was the 2-cost card that generated a plasma. That when you upgraded it went down to 1. So now what it is, it's just a base cost of 1, and it exhausts. And the upgrade now removes the exhaust. And I think that's actually a card that you want to take now, because you grab the energy and it exhausts, and you can keep that energy for 1 turn, and when you evoke it, you get a couple energy. So that seems like that's a card that's actually going to be really useful now. They, like I said, they buffed the Synthesis card, which makes the powers free, just does a little bit more damage. They nerfed Shatter, which is the gold card that does damage to all and evokes all your orbs twice. It's 11 to 15 is what it was, and now it's 7 to 11. So it's a major debuff on it, really. Major nerf. They nerfed the Fasten card, which made all the block, your defend cards do additional block. It's 1 less from 5 to 4 and 7 to 6. So it's a minor debuff, a minor nerf, but it is significant. They actually buffed the Mummified Hand to actually prioritize cards that are actually better for the player. So It's really jargon filled here, but basically the higher cost cards are going to be prioritized more now than the lower cost cards, which is great. Now, enemies that got reworked. Now, Infested Prism used to be when you attacked it, it would give you an energy back. It's like the only elite ever in the history of Slay the Spire 2 that you got a bonus from, and it felt kind of weird that it did that. So they changed that, and now what it does, it inflicts your cards, some of them, not all of them, it inflicts some of your cards with a debuff that's called Tainted. Whatever the value it says Tainted 3 on it. If that has a 3, that means you're taking 3 additional damage from the Infested Prism's attacks. So you've got a completely different fight on your hands that actually makes the Infested Prism a much more challenging fight. And the attack patterns on the Infested Prism are totally different than before too. So it increases the Tainted's value as the fight goes on. It would go 3 Tainted to 6 Tainted to 9 Tainted to 12 Tainted. So the fight can really get out of hand fast if you're not able to kill him quickly. And so they changed AEONGLASS a little bit. They adjusted the moves of the AEONGLASS. The Wither status and the Withering Presence has changed too. So Withering Presence used to be a 1-cost status that when you played it, it disappeared from your deck, but it would retain in your hand and do 2 damage to you if it was in your hand at the end of the turn. And that was every 4 cards that you played, it would add another card to your deck. The change now is this. It's every 6 cards you play. It adds that status into your deck. It is unplayable now. It is no longer a playable card, and it does 3 damage to you. Totally different. And when it reaches its turn to buff itself, it's no longer just buffing itself of strength. It's throwing Wither pluses into your deck, and then Wither 2+, then 3+, increasing the damage it does to you with each and every Wither. The fight has definitely increased in difficulty, which is a good thing. Skulking Colony got a little bit of a rework. It's still the same mechanics, but it got a rework as far as how much health it has. It has 75 on below Ascension 8 and 80 on Ascension 8 up. The hardened shell power that allowed you to only hit at 15 is now increased from 15 to 20, so you can damage him by 20. And Skulking Colony no longer receives any block. So it's got some sort of a change here where it makes it a little bit easier, but also at the same time, it has a little bit more health. So you have to be able to do 20 damage as opposed to 15, which can be kind of challenging if you're getting hit for 22, trying to do 20 damage to him also. And those are the changes for all of the enemies and the cards. Not much for the cards, but a lot of changes for enemies. Let me know what you think about this update here. Is this something that you liked? Did you think they needed to rework the Infested Prism? Did AEONGLASS really need a rework? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'll catch you all in the next video.